Hi, it's Michael. Welcome to Snow in Toronto. Everyone has a certain level of standards, certain lines the person will not cross. The level of standards the person has is directly proportional to the person's energy, to the person's positivity level. The more positive, the higher energized somebody is, the higher the standards are. In this world, we are continuously tempted to take shortcuts, to cheat a little bit here, to lie a little bit there, to take little advantage of this situation, of those people, and so on, just a little bit, because it gives us so much more back. And here lies the danger. When we compromise our standards, we descend to the lower level of what we compromise to. So at that level, the higher positivity and the higher answers of the higher levels are closed to us. So if we fall like this, then we may never get it back, or it may take a long time to get the higher standards, the higher positivity, the higher energy back. So as an example, let's say with investing money, there is this fund you can sign up for, but it's not very ethical, but it gives a great return on your money. It gives you great interest, right? So it may be even double of what normal funds from normal banks, regular ethical funds can give you. So do you go for it or not? So let's say you're at this high level of standards, and you may say, okay, well, just a little bit, other people do it too, it's fine, and hey, it gives me thousands of dollars more on my investment, so just a little bit, it's just for once, it cannot hurt, it won't hurt. So you sign up for it, you invest in it. But now here you have chosen willingly to go from this level to this level. So now you're operating at this level because you willingly chosen it. So how do you get from this level back to this level? You think it's only temporary, that you have chosen a little bit of cheating, a little bit of lying, a little bit of deception, a little bit of inappropriate humor, a little bit of taking advantage of somebody. But you can get back up there because you have lost the higher energy, you have lost the answers. The higher energy, the answers that help you to go higher and higher come from the higher power, from the spirit. And if you go against the spirit, that is, if you use incongruent things like cheating, lying, deception, taking advantage of others, unkindness, even if it's just a little bit, you are closing your doors to it. So now you cannot get back up. Your only chance is to encounter a savior, somebody who will get you out of your stuck position down here to go back up. And that may or may not happen. It depends. And even when that savior comes, it's still, even with the savior, it's still kind of can be said arduous journey, because you have to chew through the patterns, through the low energy patterns, to transcend them to go to a higher level. And just to give you a very well publicized example of how this can lead to potentially a disaster is what is happening in a certain country in this world. We know about very well. So let's say that you're a political party and stay with it, because this is an important example to understand this. So let's say you're a political party and you have fairly high standards. The history of the political party is good. There were some really great presidents in the past that have been at very high level of energies, that had very high standards, and thus the party had quite decent standards. Now let's say that you have a new presidential candidate who doesn't have very high standards, who cuts corners, comes up with strange ideas, and is not that positive. And that presidential candidate has enough public votes to make it to presidency. So now you're the party that the presidential candidate can run for, and now you're faced with potential dilemma. Do we go for that candidate as our leader, or do we dismiss it? But then we may not be in power. We may lose power, and so they go for this presidential candidate. But because the party is here and the presidential candidate operates at this level, now the party, because they have chosen him as their leader, as their representative, as their boss, as their father figure, so to speak, now they have descended to his level. So now they don't operate at this level anymore, they operate at this level. So now it becomes like an avalanche, like a never-ending loop, because it's a self-feeding loop. A little bit dishonesty or antagonism towards others when it's not necessary, or cutting corners, ignoring the laws and so on, and defending it, and so on. It becomes a stuck loop, and you can't get out of it. Your only chance of getting out of it is somebody with much higher energy comes by and helps you get to a high level. Now when nobody is around like that, you're screwed and you're stuck at a lower level and you're doomed, because eventually low energy catches up with you, and lies and deception and dishonesty and unnecessary unkindness catches up with you. There is no escaping from it. You eventually march off the cliff. So this is just an obvious example of how compromising one's standard can lead to one's doom, and there may not be an easy return from it to higher levels. So there are certain healthcare techniques that can help an individual to be more energized and thus to have a higher chance of going to higher levels. And I keep on talking about them in my talks: chiropractic, neuro-emotional technique, NET, neuro-emotional technique. There is also praying, meditating, and so on. All this can help. So again, it's not worth sacrificing your standards, lowering your standards, because there may be no temporary, there may be no a little bit. When you willfully choose lower energy, then you're stuck with that energy until you choose otherwise. How can you choose otherwise when you're stuck in the lower energy? until some higher power, a savior, comes by and helps bump you up. All right. If there are any questions or comments, they can be left below the video. Wishing you healthy and joyful life. Michael out.